Hi, this is Fix It John. Today we'll be doing an annual tune-up on a Snapper 33-inch high-vac riding mower. We'll be changing the oil, spark plug, air filter. We'll be trying out a new Ninja mulching blade. You can do it and I'll show you how. Alright, this is the machine we'll be working on. It's a Snapper Rider 33-inch high-vac. I bought this mower like in 2009 and it still runs like a champ. Tune it up, change the oil once every year. It takes 17.5 horsepower, 500 cc. I don't even know if they make them anymore, but it's been a good mower for me. That may tell you when it was made. I couldn't find it, but you know, I purchased it in 2010. This is where you drain the oil from. It's electric start. These are the spark plugs I got. Part number, you can see it on the box here, BCPR5ES. And it only needs one, but these were for like $9.55 on Amazon. And that's the spark plug right there. And here's, as you know, I like buying the cheap oil. I got 10W30 only because I couldn't find straight 30 weight, and 10W30's got a good wide range of use for it. I'm down here in Florida, so it gets hot. I would have rather had the 30 weight, but I got what I got. The air filters, real good price on these, super cheap. Made in China. I wouldn't be too concerned about that. It's a lawnmower. It's not your $50,000 Lexus. There's a part number, and that fits the 17.5 horsepower Briggs & Stratton. There's your oil filter, and that only gets changed out once a year. There's the part number for that. Okay, I also bought this, I've been using a high-vac blade, and I didn't get a cover for the discharge part of it. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is change this spark plug here. Pull this rubber boot off. This is just almost on the back side of the engine behind the overhead valve. And this is your overhead valve, and this is your muffler, just right in there, right in here. So we'll take a 5/8 spark plug socket. There's our new plug, and just a small ratchet. You can get it in there. Need lefty loosey, righty tighty, just barely on there. And let's see, I like NJK, made in Japan. I think Japanese people make pretty quality stuff. A lot of your car parts come from Japan. Ace water pumps, really good stuff. I mean, those things will last for a couple 100,000 miles. Here's our other one, we showed you already. The thing about spark plugs is, you see the length here? You don't want this longer than the one you're pulling out, because if you do, it sits in there further, and there's a good chance, or a very good chance, that your piston will smack the end of that spark plug and just toast your engine. I mean, it'll just crack your piston and do all kinds of damage. So never ever put a spark plug that's longer than the one you're taking out, because you can do a lot of damage to your engine. Fit it in with your fingers. Don't put any power tools or ratchets on it at this point. Get your ratchet back on there and just barely tighten it up. And always put a spark plug in when the engine is cool. That way you don't strip the threads out in the head. And just replace your boot. And make sure it's not touching the muffler. It's got a protective cover over it, but I wouldn't lay it against the muffler. And try to keep it off the overhead valve cover. And that's the spark plug. The next thing we'll be going after is the air filter. And the air filter is housed right here. Just pull that up, lift up and back. And you just pull this cover off. That's your cover right there, lay it to the side. You pull your air filter off. And your pre-cleaner. Now this is the side that's catching all the dirt. This is your pre-cleaner. This is the side that faces the engine. So there shouldn't be any dirt coming out of that filter there. Now I think I could probably clean this one out and dust it out and reuse it again and wash that. But let me show you what I do before I put in install a new filter. Okay, I had to take it out of its case. Comes up through here. See where my fingers are coming. It gets filtered in here. And then it travels up through the filter. Okay, back down in here. A little light, you can see better. See, that's where the air comes. And right down that hole there is where the clean air goes. Okay, and then I get my handy dandy air hose. Okay, let's unpackage this air filter. It looks identical to the old one. There it is. Just let me pull the old one out of the garbage. So pretty much the same here. I don't know if you can see that. Just a little worn. It's got the Briggs & Stratton logo on this one. Foam with like a wire mesh on the back side. So we'll discard that one. Now what I like to do with the pre-cleaner is take a paper towel, and back in the day they used to tell you to put several drops of oil on it. You can use any motor oil. That way when you're mowing and you're picking up sand and dust and dirt, the sand will get hung up in this pre-cleaner. And just push it in, soak it in through here. Just cover all the bases. This is just my actual lubrication oil, nothing fancy, nothing special. You can use any old 10W30, whatever you have. This, I think that has 10W30 in it, and some 2-stroke motor oil. Not a big deal. It's a lawnmower pre-cleaner. You just use it for lubrication's all. So you get it in there. Now, like I said, back in the day that they wanted you to do this, I think now they don't tell you to do this, but you know what? Old habits are hard to break. I think because maybe people don't know how to properly do it, and their air filter kept getting clogged up with oil and their paper cleaner. So what I like to do is I've got it all in through there. So we just want enough oil to catch the dirt. I'll put it in here. I'll press the excess oil out. I'll roll it up. I mean, things that should still be done if you can do them properly. I continue to do it. I mean, and there, most of the oil's out of it. See how much oil that soaked up? I'll grab me another paper towel to make sure I've got it out. And we'll do the same thing. Just put it in there, fold, press, and roll it up. That way you're not clogging up your air filter here. And you, right there, I've got most of the oil out of it. It's still slippery. I mean, it still has oil in it, just enough to catch the sand. And this is how it'll go. Well, like that. So let me take you back over to the mower and we'll install it. Okay, let's pull out our rag we had in there to keep dust and dirt from getting into the intake. First thing you want to do is take your filter, screen side out, foam side in, place it inside the air filter housing. That'll catch the initial dust and dirt and all that. Okay, next thing you want to do is take your air filter, there's your intake. Take your air filter, put it in there, and the air will come out of this area here and swirl around and go back into the intake. And you want that clean, so press it up there. Take our cover, air filter cover, and just, let me show you these two slots here. See that hole there and that hole there? That is where those two plastic prongs go into. And then it clips up here at the top. So we want to get it in here around the air filter. Bottom side of it. Push down until it's in there. Okay. It's in there. Now, this housing will be pushed against here with this plastic. See right there? When you push that back, that closes that gap. Take your latch, go over it, snap down, and it's on. Simple as that. Make sure that your clips are underneath. There's one clip right there. See it sticking out? And right there, there's the other one. Push it down, clips are in. That little clip right there. All right, while we're under here, as you know, this is the annual inspection. We don't want to forget to grease the Zerk fitting here. that controls, that lubricates that bearing. Alright, I heated the engine up and loosened the fill cap so the oil will flow a little better, and let's get the old oil out of it. There it is. Okay, we got a 7/16 quarter-inch drive ratchet here. We're going to take this top deck cover off to oil some things up and check the blade brake component assembly there. Make sure it's in good working order. And what that does, if you fall off the motor, your deck will stop within a matter of seconds, so it doesn't chop you up, which is really a good thing if you don't want to be chopped up. And you'll notice I'm not using a pneumatic socket. I'm not putting that much torque on it. Just want to get them out of there quick and be done with it. And one more. Pull this cover off, make sure. Drop the deck, makes things a lot easier. And I don't see any excessive grease. I see a little grass clippings in here, but usually blow that out. Yeah, it's spinning a little tiny bit, but when you release the pressure, it spins real easily. So I think we'll put I think that's a 7/16. Tighten that blade brake up. Blade brake adjuster. There, now it's a little better. Now you don't want to over tighten it. You want this to spin when this is up. And I'll show you that so it spins freely. If you have it over tightened, it will stay tightened and it won't allow the blade to spin freely. Let's see here. There's a sweet spot here. You got it right there. There it is. You go back, and then it holds the, still could be adjusted a little bit, and then you pick it up where the belt is not, where the brake is not holding the blade, and it should spin back and forth freely. And then you go on up, and that's when the blade is engaged with the belt drive. So let's tighten that up just a little bit more. I think it's supposed to stop within 3 seconds or something. It's in the manual. This is a heavier blade, so see it actuating there, the spring. Now let's see if it has it. Should be a spot where it rolls very easily. I think we went beyond that. The brake is just see how it's torquing it, and then release the brake. You should spin freely. And then totally free. Okay, there's the blade brake adjustment. Hope that helps. And something else I like to do, I like to oil these pulley bearings up a little bit. Nothing fancy, just there is a lot of sand down here in Florida. Might buy them a little time. They're just cheap little bearings. And then there's little parts I like to oil. Up here. Just oil it up real good. And the same thing to the other side. Parts under here. And wipe the excess off. Zerk fitting for this wheel. I'll clean that off. And I get my grease gun and I'll grease these until the old come out. That way I know I'm pushing the dirt out. And it'll be good for another year. Okay, that's the new in there coming out, so must not be that much old. All right, it's just reverse procedure. I'm putting the deck cover back on. Not a big deal. The Zerk right there, and just enough. This is for your gear adjustment. And I like to move it, that helps the grease get in there further and work its way in there. And as always, wipe off the excess. You can see. Alright, we're back here at the left rear, and there's a Zerk fitting behind this wheel. I believe you can get to it without taking the wheel off, but I'm going to take the wheel off to show you exactly what we're dealing with here. It's a 3/4 inch bolt. So you don't need an air dry, but make it easier. And that is the axle. Now, if you can see this under here, I'll shine the light and move you in a little bit. Right there's the Zerk fitting. So you want to clean that off. Ta-da-da. It's a little better. You can't see the Zerk from there, but you really need to come from the inside. There it is. See the grease coming out? And we'll push that old grease out to know we got the good stuff in there. Okay. And that keeps dirt from collecting against that bearing and working its way in there too. That dirt will just flake off if you clean it. But there's where you put that double lock grease I was telling you about, right there. And that keeps your chain lubricated and your axle. So anything from the left side over, anything from here over to in here is lubricated with grease. Anything from here, anything in here is lubricated with that double lock grease. Anything in here is lubricated with the double lock grease. And that axle here is lubricated with the double lock grease. This axle bearing is lubricated with grease. So there's the wheel right there. Nice and clean. Clean the grease off of it. So we'll know in a season or so if I overfilled it or we got a seal leak. If we do, I'll replace that and those rubber boots up under those axles that are dry rotted. So let's put it back together. I know you guys are saying, well, what about the fuel filter? Well, I just changed the fuel filter a couple months ago. Slipping. Let's see if I got another wrench that'll fit it. Oh, the baby's on there. Well, I have one, but I don't want to use this one to put it back on with. This doesn't make them very pretty after that. Dang. Never had one on so tight before. See this light going. Maybe I should start using an end cap filter wrench. It's spinning. There's no way I put that on there that tight. There we go. Maybe I can get it off of my hand. Dang. All right. Thing about this, you need to hurry up and get it off and get a rag under it because it will leak all over. Housing a good, nice, clean wipe with a clean rag. All right, last but not least, fill it up with oil. And this takes 1.5 quarts, 1.5 quarts. All right, we're going to start the mower up so we can accurately check the oil. Make sure it's up to par before we run it. Push it back so the exhaust goes out the garage. The battery's dead, so I have to pull start it. Before you start it, you want to cycle that oil throughout the engine, that new oil, to fill up that oil filter before you start it, so it doesn't run dry. Pull it a couple times. I idled it down. Never rev a cold engine. Always idle it down, especially after changing the oil. Let the oil circulate, fill up the oil filter. Remember, this is Fix It John. You can do it and I'll show you how. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you like this video.